He showed up with multiple passports with different names, an unregistered vehicle with fake license plate, and loaded firearms. If you're asking me right now, I probably did have deputies that prevented the third assassination attempt. That we have lost sight of common sense and reality and reason, that we can't say that, holy crap, what did he show up with all of that stuff for and loaded guns, and I'm going to be accused of being dramatic. We have a serious, serious problem in this country. I saw some of you there yesterday. You didn't have guns and fake IDs. I don't know how else to explain it.
That was Riverside, California Sheriff Chad Bianco, and he might have jumped the gun by identifying a man who was arrested at a Trump rally in Coachella, California, as a would-be Trump assassin. Now, I'll get to all the reasons why that might be the case in just a moment, but if true, that would make him the third would-be Trump assassin, and luckily his plot would be foiled by law enforcement. Now, Bianco explains why authorities were suspicious of the man who was eventually arrested and identified as a 49-year-old named Vem Miller from Nevada, Las Vegas to be specific. He was apparently driving a black SUV. Here's what Bianco had to say.
As he got to the inside perimeter where deputies were conducting obviously a more thorough evaluation of the vehicles that were coming in, there were many irregularities that popped up. The deputy noticed that the interior of the vehicle was in quite disarray. The vehicle had an obviously fake license plate, and that prompted further investigation from our deputy into why the person was there and what he was doing. During that investigation, the deputy eventually found multiple passports with multiple names, multiple driver's license with different names. The vehicle was unregistered, and the license plate was what we in law enforcement would recognize as one that is homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens.
Yeah, so that's a very dangerous group, but it is not anti-Trump. So I don't want you to not see the rest of the video and not realize this was not an assassination attempt. The sheriff jumped the gun there. I understand why, because of the facts that he laid out there. I'd be very nervous about it too if a guy with fake ID and a bunch of guns shows up at a Trump rally. But as it turns out, he's an enormous Trump supporter. Anna's got the rest for you.
So the man is identified as Vem Miller. He's from Las Vegas. He denies that he is part of the sovereign citizens. He calls that ridiculous. And he also claims that he's a huge Trump supporter. In fact, I want to skip ahead to the video featuring Miller talking about why he had guns in his vehicle as he was attempting to attend a Trump rally in Coachella, California. Let's watch.
Decided to come to Coachella after receiving a special invitation from members of the Nevada Republican Party. I will fully transparently let them know that in the trunk of my car, I carry 2 firearms. One is a Glock, one is a shotgun. And these 2 firearms that I carry with me are simply for protection.
So he also spoke to Fox News Digital in a phone interview and said that he has never fired his guns. He said that he started keeping them with him after he started getting death threats, although he didn't elaborate on what he meant by those death threats or who was threatening his life. He's quoted as saying, "I've literally never even shot a gun in my life. I don't know anything about guns. I am beyond a novice." He denies that he's a sovereign citizen, calling the claim that he is ridiculous. Miller claimed that all the fake IDs and passports that he had in his car were actually not fake. He just uses different versions of his name. He kind of sounds crazy to me, to be honest. Like, Miller says that he's Armenian and has documents that use his full Armenian name and documents that don't, because using those documents in some places around the world could get him killed, referring to campaigns over the centuries to murder Armenians. Now, what about the fake press credentials. He had fake press credentials. He was trying to get in as part of the press. Miller said that he has been a 30-year member of the media and started work after graduating from high school. He has also worked on music videos and TV shows with major artists and launched America Happens Network to combat censorship in media. Now, Miller also says that he used to identify as a Democrat, especially when he was growing up, and that he thought Barack Obama was going to save us from needless wars and censorship. He says, quote, "I'm certainly more Republican now," he says, and described himself as a business partner. Himself and his business partner is more libertarian. "Yes, I'm 100% a Trump supporter," Miller said, adding that he was all in with Trump by 2018. And in fact, there are photos of him alongside Vivek Ramaswamy and other, Republicans who are on the national scene. So I happen to believe him when he says that he is a supporter of Donald Trump and the Republican Party overall.
Yeah, look, he's not an interesting person. Definitely not a shooter. Definitely not anyone trying to hurt Donald Trump or assassinate him. Besides which, they let him out on $5,000 bail.
Yeah.
He's doing videos now because he's back home. Here's who no cops, no matter what the situation is letting out of jail. Someone who's about to assassinate the president. Okay, that's not the thing that happens. It's never happened. So obviously they got it wrong. And so it's just a normal right-wing knucklehead. And by the way, this is exactly what I told you guys would happen. Because the minute one or two guys took a shot at Trump, all of a sudden Republicans are gonna realize, hey, don't we need some sort of gun control? Because we don't mind if you guys get killed or your kids get killed, but this is the beloved Donald Trump. And then they're gonna start checking for guns and they're gonna realize, oh right, it's right-wingers. There's guns everywhere. And they're gonna start arresting all sorts of people with loose guns. And that's exactly what happened here. You think that there's gonna be a Trump rally and nobody's gonna show up with guns?
So he is facing state charges over the illegal guns in his car. However, if he was really thought to be a would-be assassin, the feds would charge him.
Yeah, he
hasn't been charged.
Yeah, let's just even stop the conversation. He's definitely not.
I've just given everybody the information they need to know without a shadow of a doubt that he's not a would-be assassin.
And you're right to do that because I guarantee you 40% of the right wing will believe that he was a assassin sent in by Iran or China or Biden or Elmo for the rest of their lives. Which brings us to Trump lying about how the people that were targeting him might have been from different countries. Because why not stir up hatred and insanity while you're at it?
Yeah, so he was being interviewed on the Flagrant podcast hosted by Andrew Schultz. And during that conversation, Trump was talking about the assassination attempts and who might be behind the assassination attempts. And he floated two different countries. The first is Iran. And honestly, I don't blame Trump for thinking that because the Biden administration has put out, unverified claims that Iran is trying to assassinate Donald Trump. And then you have Trump claiming that possibly China might be attempting to assassinate him as well, although he kind of pivoted away from China and then hyper-focused on Iran. And remember, he did assassinate Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani. So it's not far-fetched that Iran would want to retaliate, but that is what he said during this conversation.
Okay, but there's absolutely no public evidence that Iran has tried to do that. And there's no public evidence at all that China's tried to do that. In that case, there's not even the Biden administration BSing about it. So now why would the Biden administration BS about an Iran attempt on Trump? Especially when it is plausible, right? Because they want to help Israel start a war against Iran. So they're like, oh, Iran's so dangerous, so dangerous. Two white guys shot at Trump, or one of them didn't even get off shot. The one who did get off the shot and was killed by the Secret Service was a right-winger. So Iran's working with right-wing unhinged maniacs here. Do you have any evidence of that? No, but he's Donald Trump, so he's gonna say it. Most important part of that conversation and interview that Donald Trump had was he said that any country that he thinks is doing that should be blown to smithereens. But Donald Trump is a lunatic conspiracy theorist. So if he thinks, oh my God, I'm being targeted by Iran, by the way, how easy would it be for Israel to get this idiot to think he's being targeted by Iran and have him absolutely destroy Iran and get us into a gigantic war in the Middle East.
We're going to get into a gigantic war with Iran anyway because Israel wants it. And anything Israel wants, the United States government, whether it's run by a Democrat or Republican, they will get. They will get.
Okay.
So that doesn't matter. Everyone should be prepared for the US engaging in a hot war with Iran. Get ready for that, because that's what's going to happen. And it doesn't matter if it's going to be a Democrat in charge or a Republican in charge.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, but as usual, Donald Trump will nonstop conspiracy theories. What if the lunatic thinks that China's targeting him with absolutely no evidence? But does he need evidence for saying that people are eating cats and dogs and all the other lunatic things he's made up? So what's he going to do? Get us into a hot war with a nuclear country? So, okay, look, the people who took shots at him or tried to, worst people in the world. It's so stupid, morally, strategically, in every way, so dumb. And now it's given him cause to say, could be. My enemies could be targeting me. I need to strike back. And so we're all in for a world of pain here.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a young Turk.